appreciate you showing up. X-Ring will be here in a second. We are at Big IVEY, Silas branch. First time I've ever been here. Ray's been here once before. He did a video out here on the long range up at the top. I think it's, what do they call it, Tower 10 or 12?
Station 12.
Station 12. Beautiful place. When I was on the way here, just getting here, it was freaking amazing.
Yeah, he was actually following me because he'd never been here. And guys, this is just outside of Burnsville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And just for reference, if you just go about an hour north of Asheville, that's where you're going to find Big IVEY Silas branch. Now, don't get confused because they also have a large gun store. I think they actually have a couple.
Yep.
And that might be in the Mars Hill area, I'm not sure, but that's Big IVEY Guns.
Let's give them a location. So Charlotte's 2 hours and 45 minutes from here.
Correct.
We got Asheville, it's an hour north. Kind of give you guys an idea where this place is. And then 2 hours and 25 minutes west of here is Knoxville.
Correct.
So
Big IVEY Silas branch is where this range is at. There's no other range that I know of that I've shot at like this on the East Coast.
no,
Pretty much anywhere.
We are tucked away in this big valley right here. And what's really cool about this place, Ray had tried to tell me, you know, kind of give me an idea of what's going on here. And it was, until you're here and understand how it works and how badass the topography is, you actually get some really good angled shots. There's some spots where you get to shoot up. You get a lot of spots where you shoot down. I think right over here, which we're not going to pan over, but it's 1,200 is the farthest shot.
About 1,200 yards.
But they got to shut some of the range down for that. But what's neat about it, and can kind of be a hiccup if you're trying to do a large match. So we're here today to do a match tomorrow. So we were lucky enough to, they had 2 spots, 2 RV. This is the first time they've ever used
no
them.
one's ever used these before, but they had a 30 and a 50 amp hookup. They had 2 of them, and they allowed us to stay here tonight for the match tomorrow. So tomorrow is a outlaw but PRS match. This is only the second one they've ever put on. I think you're going to see a lot more long-range matches out here. I know that they're actively looking for someone that might be a match director, so if you're in the area and do PRS, you might want to give them a call.
That's true. So TJ, which is one of the employees that works here, we met a lot of great people today, and unfortunately I can't remember them all. TJ is the first guy that we really got a chance to talk to. He's the one actually running the match tomorrow. So kudos to TJ for actually spending the time and getting this match set up. And then we got Enrique, which was really cool. We hung out with Enrique for a while. And then there was 2 other guys, and I forgot their name, and I apologize.
Yeah, and Clint, if you're out there watching, appreciate everything. Clint is one of the, I think, manager owners.
Gotcha.
I know he's up at the top.
It's an amazing facility.
He's
right
really
now,
wanting to grow it.
Yeah, right now we're under a pavilion, which is, there's 2 bathrooms, men and women's, got an ice machine over here. This is kind of like their classroom area. You can see they got a whiteboard in the back. You can see some stuff up where they do some, probably some concealed carry classes, probably. And but they do have other types of classes I did see on the calendar.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you do want to know about this is some exciting information. Myself, Rick, and Sam will be putting on a long-range match or a long-range class out here. This is going to be more for someone that's wanting to get into long range. You might not understand, you know, the Kestrel, Street Lock. Maybe you've never shot past 200, 300, 400 yards. This will be the place to do it. We're actually going to hold that class August the 22nd. It is on a Monday, and Clint has given us the ability to be able to come out here and teach that. It'll actually be taught here in this pavilion.
Yeah. First portion of the day.
Yeah, it'll run from 8 a.m. to about 11 a.m. on the classroom portion. We'll break a little bit for lunch, and then we'll immediately go out to the range, get our zeros, and then ultimately by the end of the day be shooting out to 1,000 yards. And not just shooting out to 1,000 and hitting steals, but understanding how you got there, building a dope chart for you and your rifle. We're going to have 8 or 9 spots. 4 of them are already taken, and those are accounted for. So the way we're going to do this is, in the next week or so, if someone is interested, all they've got to do is go to www.xringcustoms.com, and I'll actually have it as a class in there. And so the class will run, the shooting portion will run from about 11:30 to about 5 p.m. We'll do everything from positional shooting to you name it. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, so if you're just trying to learn your rifle, go out and shoot, or if you're trying to get into the PRS-ish, you'll understand quite a bit more than at the end of the day, for sure.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, let's go ahead and say hey to everyone, DW, and then Skulls in here. We've got Todd Elfster. I like your setup on your camper there. That was pretty cool. And we got Riflemania, Tim Rink, Talking Rock. Abigail's in here, Ranger 10mm, LZ. It's been a while since I've been on a chat.
Yeah.
Big Country, what's up, Big Country? MXJ23, TJ, and then John Kreiderman. Kreiderman, I hope your wife's doing well.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of get the breakdown of this facility, and then we'll kind of get into what we're doing tomorrow, what I know I'm doing Sunday, you might be doing. What's nice about this place is you don't have to have a membership. So
they don't do memberships.
They don't do membership.
Yep.
So what's really cool is you can do a half day or like a partial day and then a full day.
You can actually pay by the hour as well, but you'd probably be better off doing a half day.
Yeah, because what happens is you get all your gear. Here's kind of some gear, but you get in side by sides. So very steep terrain, basically some switchbacks to get you to the top, and it's not where you're going to drive your own vehicle.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen. Great people. They load all the gear into the side by sides and then reconnect.
Yeah, somebody said she gone.
Yeah, there's one. So go ahead. What we probably need to do is turn the camera around so we'll know if it's.
Okay, can you reverse that now?
Yeah. All right.
TJ said I got you back.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do this live chat. We're actually on the Wi-Fi from down the road here.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin it.
We're going to spin the camera that way we can see if we have any issues. That's perfect right there. And I don't know where we left off.
I know. So tell us where we left off, because that sucks. Because what'll happen is that section where it didn't go, it'll cut out of it, and then when they go to watch this later, it'll be. So hopefully somebody can answer.
Chats up there.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be able to read them.
TJ said he's got us back, so we'll see.
Yeah, just gotta wait. We got 5 on there.
So if you're watching, you're one of the 5. Just type in something so we know that you can see us and we're back.
Yeah, and then where did we end off at when it cut off? Could be a little different for some people, but it'll give us an idea where we need to finish. Let's see.
You left off the part where everyone watching gets free microtext. So I hear you. And we're back.
All right. Loading gear up.
Loading gear up. Got it.
So where did we end off at before?
It said loading gear up, and I don't know if that
that's what I don't know what that means.
We're trying to read the comments once they come in.
So, if you're not familiar with my rifle, because I think probably it died during that.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and talk about Ray's rifle. I guess I'd be the guess about where it ended. So, but now we can hit the reconnect button if it goes bad again. We got his turned off, so we should be. All right, we'll get a few minutes for everybody to show back up, maybe, and then we'll rock and roll.
DW says you two otter. All right, so for both of us, we're both shooting 6 Creedmoor tomorrow. You guys know I've been playing around with the 6BR, the 6 Dashers, and honestly, for me, I don't know, and I've had a lot of discussion with Kenny and some other guys. I don't know for me if it's the most effective cartridge. I think I can download the 6 Creedmoor. It is a different recoil impulse. I do know that the 6BR, the 6 Dasher, it's just a hair sharper, but the velocities are lower unless you're really trying to push something like the Dasher. You're not going to be able to push the 6BR to do these type of velocities. But I can load it down. You can even shoot Varget out of them, but we've switched from the 115s to the 105 burgers.
Yep.
And I'm running a pretty soft load. I'm actually.
Are you running H4350?
I'm running H4350.
Okay, that's what I'm running. You're 40.8.
I'm 2940 on the velocity.
No, but 40.8.
40.8.
Yeah, and I'm 40.5, but I'm running a 20.
What's HRN? What's up?
How's it going? I'm running a longer barrel too. So
he's running a dedicated PRS rifle tomorrow. I'm going to run the Mark 22. The guys over at Proof were able to get me squared away, and I was able to get a 6 Creedmoor barrel for the Mark 22. And big shout out to those guys. I'm also running a different brake. I'm running one of the without warning brakes, which is a tuner brake. It's the same one that Morgan King's running. I think he won more matches in 2022 than anybody else. Won the NRL 22 championship, being out Jake Vibert.
Yeah,
Not saying I'm going to shoot like him. I'm just saying
rocking.
this is a very effective brake, and
Yes, we're live, Otter.
it really did tighten up the groups for me.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to do 6 stages tomorrow, 10 rounds each. So it's a 60 shot round count. So it's not going to be, you know, one of these 100, 120 round matches.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. It'll make it, there was quite a few people we shot with today.
From Waynesville.
From
Super great
Waynesville.
guys.
Yeah. They're out of Waynesville, so that's pretty cool. And the best part is this.
Don't even go there.
Yeah, we are.
No, don't go there.
So we pull up. No,
don't even go there. It's okay.
Oh, come on, man. Don't get off. So we pull up, and they're like, holy shit, that's X-Ring. So it's pretty cool. Let's see.
The Tan Night Force.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Isn't that pretty awesome? So if you guys don't know, Night Force doesn't normally do that. Until now, right?
But I've got this all correct now. I've got the Night Force mount on it with bronze scope, and yeah, I'm gonna shoot it. And then Kenny and I are actually going to be shooting the gap grind. I know Rick's shooting it with Dick Hedges.
Yep.
The K&M gap grind, which there's going to be 400 competitors on that.
Yeah.
And Kenny and I are going to shoot sniper rifles, true sniper rifles. I'm going to shoot the Mark 22. Kenny's going to shoot the AI, the AW. And we're going to see how we do with it. Not shooting dedicated PRS guns just because. We just want to try it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So I was originally going to do a video on like the top 100 things. I still haven't done that. Of like 2 years or 2.5 years of shooting PRS. And we can kind of wrap this into not so much just PRS, but other stuff as well. But we'll just give like some ideas. A lot of people will buy gear, right? Luckily, we have we've bought a lot of gear over the years.
Yeah, we bought.
I did say it. Yeah, I haven't said that in a while. So yeah, I used to say botting all the time. But like a bipod, right? Some people will go out to buy a bipod.
Kenny says he's gonna rock a rice paddy hat.
Rocking a rice paddy hat. But like,
guys, this is really good information he's going to go over because we wasted a lot of money learning this game.
Yeah, a simple bipod. So some of the problems in at least PRS is a lot of times nothing is flat and nothing is level. So not a big deal if you got the right gear, right? So you'll have a modified prone stage or you'll have a prone stage, and a lot of people, you see them fumbling if they run something that you can't. So more than likely, when you put your rifle down, you're basically guessing, I'm going to put my legs about here, and you go to put it down, and now it's like this. And a lot of, well, not a lot, but bipods that can't, basically that guy's fighting it, he's on one, I've seen this quite a few times where he's on just the one leg, you know, trying to shoot because his rifle's like this. So making sure you buy a bipod. These are like simple things, but it's a simple, easy way to waste money because they don't know. They're like, I need a bipod, so they go buy a bipod, but they didn't buy the one with cant in it. And then, go ahead.
So there's nothing wrong with a Harris. Nope. But if you're going to buy a Harris, get the one that's got canting.
Yes.
Because if you don't, just like what he said, you're going to be on unlevel ground, and you're not going to have the time to get behind your rifle. Oh my goodness, I'm tilted. And then reach up and try to extend that leg while you're on the clock. Get something that has the ability to cant.
Yeah. Another thing I've learned over the couple, you know, I've been shooting this for a little while now, is I can shoot a tighter group with an Atlas than I can a Skypod. Okay. So, and you
agree.
You know how
100%.
So if you're trying to print really good groups because you want to test your rifle, let's say you have them both, or you have different ones and one works better for certain things. The Atlas BT47,
BT46 has non-rotating legs.
Yeah, you don't want the non-rotating legs because if you're on like a car hood or if you're on some smooth stuff, the thing will turn.
You want non-rotating legs.
Yeah, the wheels will turn. You don't want that because you're trying to press in and load the bipod, and all of a sudden your rifle's trying to go So that's something. So what I will tell you is, and this is expensive gear, the Atlas is an amazing bipod. There's nothing wrong with it. I have one. Actually, Kreiderman's got it. But for adjustability and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, we're like a rooftop. If you're gonna run, if you're not gonna just run a bag, people will attack barricades in different ways. But if you're gonna run a bipod on a roof prop or like a double one where you got to shoot from this side and then shoot from this side, you have the ability to cant 100 and
No, a SkyPod will cant
the
120.
SkyPod, yeah.
That's the only one.
yeah, where the Atlas won't. So like those are some limitations. But if you want to print really good groups, or you're doing some type of bench stuff, testing rifles, like that's the thing. Anything else on like that you noticed on bipods, like you run one that pressures out. Isn't that the one? Is that the Thunder Beast?
Yeah, it's the Thunder Beast. The only thing I'm going to add to this is, can you shoot a PRS match with a Magpul polymer bipod? You absolutely can.
Yeah.
And you can shoot it with a Harris that's non-canting. But if you're trying to
If you're going to buy something anyways,
yeah,
like when it comes to the one, the Harris, like I don't know how much more it is for the cant, but you're gonna want the cant.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna shoot movers, like at a match in Georgia, I don't remember what month it was, but it was a long stretch, and you had movers, and basically you're still waiting for it, attacking. What is it called?
Ambush.
Ambushing it. But now you can move over without your legs trying to turn and having to do a bunch of weird stuff. That's some of the benefits of the Arca 2 is you can bring that bipod way in, and then you don't have, the back of your rifle doesn't have to move as much. So like if you have a moving target, I would slide my bipod in.
Closer to the magwell.
Closer to the magwell, and I just pivot this much, and my front of my rifle went a lot farther. So there's all these little things of, just going out and practicing and learning that will help out.
And just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's better. So
True.
I have the Atlases, I have the Skies, I have the Thunder Beast. I
have the
use the
Harris.
Thunder Beast a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of my favorite bipods, but it is not without its detractors.
They all got 'em. They all got 'em.
You can cant with a Thunder Beast, but you cannot pan with it, okay?
Yeah, that one.
There is no panning whatsoever. One of the reasons I like it is, and this is another reason why I like a Harris, is you can deploy the legs just by tapping them down. There's no button to press. There's nothing that's going to hold you back from just snapping them down quickly.
Yeah, some guys run a string and they just open both.
Depends on the type of match that you're shooting. The reason I like that one is because of the feet. I do know that when you extend it a lot, it does flex a little bit. So expensive doesn't always mean it has all the features. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So that's kind of basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build, and I haven't done it yet, obviously, because it'd be out, top 100 things that I've learned in the PRS NRL. So if you came over from his channel, I've shot a lot of NRL and PRS rimfire matches, and then a handful of centerfire matches to give you an idea. But I do a lot of shooting. A lot. I travel quite a bit. I made it to the nationals and the championship for NRL and PRS. So take it for what it's worth, but there's a lot of great information, and it's just hard to try to figure out. So like the bipod, you could sit there and talk about the bipod for an hour, but an hour of bipod talk's horrible. So, but there's all these things like plates, here's a plate.
Yeah, so bipod you got to have on your rifle, regardless of what you bought. Doesn't matter if you bought a Daniel Defense or you bought a Teak or whatever.
Make sure you can take it off though.
Yeah, because if you're going
don't do
through
the
a porthole,
screw thing. Don't do the screw thing.
Yeah, and so having the Arca Squish makes it nice because you can slide it off. These are the essential things you probably need to shoot for positional rifle shooting. One is a plate, okay?
Doesn't have to be that one.
It doesn't have to be this one. This is the Gray Ops. This has turned out to be all of our favorites.
Yep.
I have taken the weights off of this. They do have brass weights that are available,
They come.
but the last time I really used this was in a ruck match, and I didn't want those weights because
I don't blame you.
pounds equals pain.
That's right.
But this is a great plate that's going to give you stability. So you're going to need some type of plate.
And it's not too big. The problem I saw last week, where was I at? I don't know. I was shooting a match somewhere. This guy, though, would work really good on a lot of stuff, when you're running it in a cruck of a tank trap, like
It's
it
too
didn't work. So
wide. You want
basically,
something smaller.
the metal was hitting, and his bag was down here. So
Yep.
so it was.
This is going to be my all-time. A small plate or medium-sized plate like this is going to give you better stability.
That's my Gray Ops. That's the pro version.
A game changer, medium, heavy.
Yeah.
Not light fill.
Not for PRS.
And a pump pillow. That is all you need.
Pump pillow with the strap would be preferred.
Yeah, you want some type of strap or tether. You can shoot pretty much any match out there with those 3 items and a bipod. The rest is going to be just pulling the trigger. You do want some type of dope card holder, but if not, just take a blank card, drill a hole in it, and put a hair tie in it, and put it on the side of your scope.
Yeah, the next time you go to a hotel and they got the little hotel cards, just run.
If it's blank on one side, just keep it.
Yeah, or just run tape like I do. And there's a bunch of layers here, so I'll pull it one off after the stage is over, and basically erase the erase board.
As long as I've been doing this, one of the things that I can tell you is technology is awesome, right? But do not get caught up on, okay, well, I'm using the SIGs. Are they better than the Vortex Furies? How fast do they link? You want to keep it simple. I don't even link or pair this anymore. The Garmin watch with the Delta Applied Ballistics, I don't pair that. There's no reason for me to do it. Depending on the type of match that I'm doing, you just need a good set of laser range-finding binoculars. 10 power is my preference because I can visually see and in my head get the course of fire through this. Not a spotting scope. A spotting scope is nice, but it's not necessary. So as long as you got decent glass, good laser range finding abilities, you're good to go with a set of laser range finding binos. And then tripod, it really doesn't matter. What I've learned is just go with what's comfortable with your budget. Not all tripods are created equal.
No. Things you'll want to know too on just tripod talk would be, they make them in different diameter of legs. They hold different. They got different different ways of tightening the ball. There's a bunch out there, so kind of get familiar. Maybe you got some buddies. Go to a match. This is my preferred, the Anvil 30.
Yeah, so this is the really right stuff with an Anvil 30. If I'm spotting, great. I've got my spotting scope, but if I don't want it, I just flick it. I use the really right stuff perch mount. It goes on here, and now I'm the binos and spotting. It's that quick. Yep. I've got a lever here where I can micro adjust it.
I love that lever.
And I can shoot off of this.
A lot of the tripods that you'll see have a ball, or like a,
they call it a bowl.
A knob to turn it, and I do not like those. But that's just me. You may prefer those. You may be using those. I grew up on that style, so that's kind of like my preferred one. It's very fast, and you can clamp your crap out of your rifle if you're shooting off. You're shooting where you got your rifle on top.
The other thing that's nice about the Anvil 30, guys, I'm trying to get it where you can see the light, is this works on ARCA as well as Picatinny.
Yeah.
So if he's running a gasser that's got a Picatinny on the bottom, or we just put a rail on the bottom, you can just slap it on there and lock it in the same way. You don't have to have an ARCA to use that, or vice versa.
So some models that you see, and the reason why this worked out great for us when we went to like New Mexico and Wyoming, is some of them, when they're in the folded configuration, are like a lot long. They're longer. But when we're running them in a ruck bag, instead of it being way up here and you're walking through tree branches and stuff and hitting this, it folds in your pack a little bit better. But there's ones that deploy the opposite way. There's all sorts of stuff that has come out. But just kind of, if you get a chance, don't buy stuff until you get to play with, go to a match and, say, hey, do you mind if I take a look at this or whatever?
And I'm still a huge fan of this, whether you own one of these or not. Everybody at the match copies my card, because the first thing I do when I go to a stage, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Rick. I don't care if it's whatever. If I've already done the work, they know it's good.
Yep.
These are the data cards that I sell. I mean, they're cheap. They're like $8 or $9 or whatever. I don't even know, but they're on my website. But they come with a Velcro on the back, and as long as you have chaps or if you've put some Velcro strips, this will slap onto here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I've learned the hard way. If you're doing a ruck match, you don't want to lose this card. Well, it's invaluable for me. Yeah. So I tether this, and we use a lot of, I know Rick uses these as well. I use them, but there are these
plastic
They're the plastic carabiners, and guys, it doesn't have to be the name brand. You can buy them from Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's got
But these
orange
plastic ones are super lightweight.
They work well.
And they work well, but what I'll do is I will take this and just attach it. So now my card is actually tethered to the tripod. So that way, if I get wind or anything else, I still have my card, it's on a bungee. You might say, well, why is that important? Well, the way that you're looking at it is the way that I use it. I'll have my binos up here. I'm gonna verify distances first and foremost. I will do a layout here on a PRS style match or even a ruck style match. I'll go ahead and put the yardages, and then I'll start figuring out my dope. Everybody comes up to this and verifies because they know that I'm getting good numbers.
Yeah.
And always verify. Don't ever take anything for granted. I've been to so many matches where they said this was, 478 yards and it's 490 yards. And you might say, well, that's not much. Well, in rimfire, it's huge.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
In rimfire, you're gonna miss completely.
If you have a RO or a match director that's basically maybe either has a set of range finders that's maybe not right, maybe not calibrated, or whatever the case is, and the distances are off like 20 yards, it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Now for center fire, it's just as important. And know your rangefinder. Try to get with one and stick with that, because sometimes you'll see variances in rangefinders. Doesn't matter the manufacturer. We tested like 5 one day, and like 2 of them were the same, and the rest had variances, which got increasingly worse the further you got out, it seemed.
Yeah.
So if you're getting your dope off that, don't trust your friends. That's not what you've got your dope for your rifle at for this distance.
No, that's a good point. If I go, oh, my 100-yard zero is this, and it's what my rifle 100-yard is, and it's really, say, I don't know, 96 or something,
Yeah.
it's going to keep getting worse. But
Okay, so I'm going to bring up a pretty cool topic. I'm going to do 2 things that people worry about that they shouldn't worry about. 1, it doesn't have to be exactly 100.0 yards when you zero your rifle. It can be 110 yards. Now we're talking about center fire here, not rim fire. So the reason I bring this up is a lot of times your Kestrel will default to 109 yards, which is 100 meters.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, okay? When I went out to Texas.
Fix it.
Yeah, I went out to Texas, but don't sit there and spend 5 minutes while your buddy's walking with a laser rangefinder. Oh, a little bit closer, a little bit further, no, a little bit closer. It doesn't matter. You can run the calculations on it, and you're talking about a 1/4 of an inch. It's not going to make that much of a difference. You're not going to be able to physically hold it. That's one thing people worry about way too much.
Well, and they worry about if this is the rifle, they want to know if the 100 should be here or if it should be at the action.
Yeah, they start measuring it at the act. Well, my scope sits right here. This is where the erector tube is.
And as
it's
long
not
as you
important.
keep doing it the same, it doesn't
It's
matter.
fine. The second thing everyone worries about that they shouldn't worry about.
What?
The distance of height over bore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
2 1/4.
Guys, put 2 1/4, put 2 1/2, and check and see what the difference is.
Yep.
It is not going to matter for long range if you don't take your calipers out and then measure from center line of bore to center line of scope. It's not going to matter. Now, that being said, garbage in, garbage out, you want to be close, but if you're at the range, you don't have to go digging
It's 2 1/4.
Yeah, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, somewhere in there, you're good. Just call it good.
2 1/4, 2 1/2.
So those are 2 things that people worry about that they shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things people worry about.
Yeah, but those are 2 things that it's just like, dude, it's okay, you'll live.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose the match because of that. The other thing is, and I've said this a million times, this will be the last one, this will be the 3rd one.
No, well, it'll be more.
Nope.
So,
If your rifle does not shoot a 1/4 inch group, no big deal, okay? Because there's very few rifles that can do that. Just because your rifle shoots a 1/4 inch group once does not mean it's a 1/4 inch gun.
That's true.
Okay?
what is it saying? All
work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
No. All input. What's the hell's the thing? You say, where like the wind and then you screw up and
All errors cancel.
all errors cancel. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do want good information going in. I do get that. But the thing is,
And the
none
group
of us
is
here.
5 shots or more. Just
Yeah.
in case you know.
Yeah, not 3.
Not
It's a
3.
5-shot group.
And
You
then
should be able to
And then you got to do it
10 times.
like 4 more times at least.
Yeah, man, there's some really, really good articles that Lid's put out. Chris Way does the craft challenge, and even the best in the world can barely hold a minute in positional shooting. So if your rifle shoots a minute, you should be able to come out and do just as well and win a match, okay? Or enough errors cancel, and that'd be the difference that you needed to hit the steel.
You're like, oh, I pulled that one, but well, you pulled it in the right spot at that time.
Correct. So, you know, don't chase it so much. If your rifle shoots decently and you can go to 100 yards and you can hold a 1-inch pasty, even for rimfire, 100 yards, 1-inch pasty, you can win. Yeah. You can win.
What's Esau saying?
The non-regs can purchase without something, without a switch or something. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's tough.
We're having to sit back away because we're having lighting up here.
Yeah, we got the lights and all sorts of action going on here.
Yeah, so let's answer some of y'all's questions, unless there's something you want to talk about.
No, I was bring it up. If you got a question, bring it up.
We're gonna shoot this tomorrow, and then the plan is I've got to see how I feel. But leave from here, go to South Carolina. They're doing a rimfire match.
Yeah,
Eric Leopold is actually, he was out there earlier. He's the match director. He's putting on that match at the Clinton House.
Yeah, that's Sunday. Practice, it'll be on Practice Score, and it's gonna be fun. It's his first on the light fire firearm. It's gonna be his first PRS match that he's run. So kudos to him as well for setting up a match. Should be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of work, guys. I always thank your match director and the ROs because it is tough. It takes a lot of time.
Trimmer
3 on the Mark 22. Yes.
Is that what you got on there?
I almost went with the Mill XT, but because I was trying to get this as true as could be, I went ahead and got the Trimmer 3 on it. It's close enough, and that's why I chose it. And I'm very familiar with it, and that way if I use this in some other type of match, I'm just really familiar. Someone did ask a question about the Trimmer 5 that I've got on the burst scopes that I'm running, the pros. I love that Trimmer 5. It's a cleaner version of the Trimmer 3 without all the hassles and everything else, because most people...
It's got a mover in it still, right?
Yeah, but it's I'm not going to say it's dumbed down. It's just a lot cleaner.
That's good.
And most people are not going to know how to use the Trimmer 3 anyway.
Asked about the firearm with the swap barrel. Let's see if I can... Josh says y'all must use a bipod out there more than us. I may use it at this stage. Out there more than us. Well, it depends on the style match, honestly.
Yeah, either rimfire or centerfire, there's going to be, and they do this on purpose, I think. What they'll do, and when I say they, I'm just saying in general, this is what I've seen, is they like to throw a bipod in there that you need to get rid of.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they will have, or one that you will need. They'll have small portholes that you don't want a bipod on there, but then they'll end the stage where you're ending prone off the ground.
Oh, Frontline last week was a prone barrel this way, prone barrel that way, prone.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
So yeah.
So it's not like you can rip it off, because now when you go to the next one, you're screwed again. But.
Correct. And a lot of times that bipod will get in the way or get snagged into a hole.
Yeah.
You can only bring it in so much. But yeah, what I have noticed is there's less tripod work on the East Coast, a lot more tripod work on the West Coast, more bipod work here on the East, less bipod out there. So that's what I do see.
Yeah, and it kind of just depends on how the match director, he may put no tripods, or he may say no bipods, or, it's up to the match director to figure out what they want to do. But
correct. Depends on how evil they want to be.
Yeah, exactly. See, a lot of people, Big Tasty, shooting probably the best AR trigger on the market. 1 and 8, 6 Rudder says 1 and 7 or 1 and 8 for 5.56, 16-inch barrel.
Okay, it depends on what you plan on shooting the most. I will tell you, in a lot of the testing that I've done, 1 and 8 seems to just be a good all-around twist.
For like 55 and 77?
If you're shooting like a lot of 55s, 62s, things like that, the 1 and 8 is fine. But the 1 and 7 is what I run probably the most. But then again, remember, I don't have a lot of shit. You guys might have heard this. I either have really long ARs or I have machine guns that are short, 10 inches or shorter. I don't run a lot in that 16-inch range. It's not what I have. And because of that, most of my ARs are 1 and 7s because I'm running 77 grainers.
18 and up.
Yeah, it's 18s, 20s, 22s. I don't even know if I own a 16. I do own one 16-inch gun, I think. Everything else is a lot shorter.
Yeah, you definitely got some short ones. Team blind stage match Sunday.
In Ellerby, you guys should come.
Oh,
Dang,
Mac
Macev, is that the one that Coleman's Creek is putting on? I didn't know that was Sunday, and I knew there was one coming up, and this all kind of came up all of a sudden, shooting this match, and then doing the rimfire on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be running out to Ellerby, and I mean, we could have shot it, but
I don't even know where that's at.
it's the Coleman's Creek, where I shot
okay.
the
No,
where they do
I
the
gotta
vortex
shoot that
divisional.
match because it's
Points match.
Eric's. No, it's Eric's match. I wanted
Got
to
it.
support him.
Ray, you like them 223 Wilds? I do have quite a few 223 Wilds, but most of my stuff is 5.56. I'd say across the board, yeah.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with the 223 Wild. When I was shooting the Lancers, the Lancer rifles,
Geisley
all of
Super
those were
Duties.
223 Wild barrels.
Do you like the Geisley Super Duty something?
The Geisley
My
Super
arm's
Duty
all
trigger
on.
is a great trigger. I like it.
I lost it.
Hold on. Yeah, we only get the comment for
Yeah,
just a
it's
couple
right on the
seconds
bottom
and then
of
it
this.
disappears. The problem is if I turn this one on to read the comments, we're gonna drop the chat again.
How's it going, Ace?
What's up, Ace?
Yeah, all right, so tomorrow, 9 o'clock starts. Be down there by 8:30. I think there's not very many shooters, but this is only the second time they put on the match. Maybe this will get you guys to shoot a first match if you haven't shot a match yet, if you're in the area. And if so, or if you just want to shoot long range, this is a great place to come out for the day for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to leave that the one question hanging.
The Geisley one?
When it comes to triggers, and this is my personal
Yeah, I was
opinion,
gonna
he
personally-
might have a different opinion. If it's anything that's competition related, I'm going to be running a Trigger Tech Diamond in my AR. That would not be my first choice for a duty style gun or a work gun, if you will.
You're gonna be running a what?
I'm a Trigger Tech Diamond, probably a 2-stage for competition.
For 3-gun?
For competition.
Any competition.
Trigger
For
Tech
3-gun.
Diamond is what I run pretty much on everything.
Gotcha.
If it is a work style gun, let's say like a Mark 18 or any of the machine guns, I'm usually going to have a Geisley in it. Whether it is the SOCOM Select Fire or like the Super Duty, I like those. What I don't like is the Geisley, the Super 3G. It doubles on you too often, and that's going to throw you out of a match if you
Yeah.
end up. And it's
Indian.
not just me. I've had a
Maybe
ton of
Indian.
friends. It's almost like if it just rides and bounces, you'll get a double or a triple off of it when you're not intending to. So I definitely don't run that in a match. But that's my personal experience with the guys, the Super 3G.
Just roll with it, Rick. DW. No, I was wondering, because Hyperfire back in the day, see, I'm running a Hyperfire on my newest rifle, so I was kind of wondering about that.
I love Hyperfires. I don't run them anymore.
Gotcha.
Actually, I took all of them out of my rifles. But then again, you guys know I'm a Trigger Tech dealer. That's how much I believe in them. And
Yeah.
all of my guns, all of the Cobalts that I have, all run Trigger Techs now.
Nice. Is that the what was that one Trigger Tech Diamond AR one?
They were doing the Independence Day,
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
one
they
I
were doing
got.
the specials. Yeah, there's a lot of really good triggers, but
I
I,
love
haven't
the
had any
Trigger Tech.
issues. There's been a couple that I've heard of going down. I know there was a bad batch that came out, and they warrantied those. But I
That's with
personally
everything, though.
haven't experienced it. Everything breaks at some
yeah,
point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got the ATCs and the AR Golds. Matter of fact, I have a drawer full of them, believe it or not. And
The
I quit
Golds?
using them because of that reason. They doubled on me, tripled on me all the time. We pulled them out of all of the LWRC
Yeah.
rifles. Yeah, I've got a drawer full of them. I don't use them.
Yeah. For those of you that are not sure whether you like a single stage or 2-stage for, let's just call it like precision rifle shooting, it's going to be up to you to figure out which one you like. But some people like the single stage, some people like the 2-stage. I'm a huge fan of the 2-stage because I like I like being able to like get it exactly where I want it on the finger.
Yeah.
Some people like running the single stage and they actually run their finger on the bottom of the guard, and that's their contact before they come in. I don't know. What do you like?
And I
I
know
already
some
know
of you
what you
guys
like.
probably already heard this already, but we do have a few people in the chat. I know we broke away for a little bit because of the internet connection.
Yep.
We're at Big Ivy Guns here in Silas Branch, which is in Burnsville, North Carolina. And August 22nd, myself and Rick and Sam will be teaching an intro to long range class here. You will shoot out to 1,000 yards, half day classroom, and then half day on the range. And you've got to bring your rifle. It's pretty simple. I have everything online once I put the date up there next week, or put the information next week.
True.
You just need to have a rifle that's capable of holding an 1.5-inch group at 100 yards. You need an adjustable, you need a scope with external turrets. No hunting scopes. It needs to have external turrets.
MOA or Mills, either way.
Yep, we can teach either way. It
If
doesn't
you haven't
matter.
bought one, I know what I'd prefer.
Yeah. And did somebody ask about Timney?
No, I think it was Skull or somebody was saying he likes the Timneys.
Yeah. Timney
Yep.
does make a good trigger. I don't run them anymore. We had quite a few issues with those, especially with some of the rimfire rifles.
Yeah.
And I've also had some issues with the Timneys and the PCCs. So I don't typically run those anymore.
Yeah, and it
Just
kinda,
my experience.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on what I've been reading on some of the forums. Is depending on almost like, are they running it in a chassis or a stock and all sorts of stuff. And basically, they have like 3 different versions or something. I heard like a medium, small, and a large on the sear that you can mess with.
Yeah.
So it's like if you don't order the right one, it can be a pain in the ass. Or if you just get lucky and you order the right stuff and it works perfect, then it does. So.
Can we hit comments here and keep them up live? Oh, we lose it. Just hit cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a way when it comes back up. Here we go. So now we got Hesaw up there.
Hold on, we're trying to pull up some
All right, here we go.
messages.
I purchased the entry-level Geisley 2-stage this week. Forgive my spelling. Love Trigger Tech. Skull says, do you keep your AR Trigger Tech at 1.5, even shooting for speed? There's a question for you.
I do, but I'm not going to say that I recommend it. I run my triggers pretty light, even for 3-gun, but just be careful with that, just so you got to keep that finger out of there. My preference is a 2-stage on everything. It's one of the things I don't like about the Mark 22 is this trigger is a single stage, and I like having that initial take up and then come back off the wall, but that's definitely a single stage in the Mark 22.
Yeah, when it came to Glock, I don't remember who was asking about Glock. I was running the.
What's up, Walter?
It was called the Pyramid trigger from the Glock store back in the day when I was shooting the Glock. And that was a good trigger, at least back in the day. I know there's a lot of different stuff that's come out since then because I haven't shot a Glock in a long time. Picked up a new pistol today. I picked up another 365. 365, I think it's your favorite. It's my favorite carry gun, but I got it in basically got it in like a 2-tone
Flat dark earth.
flat dark earth and
So
some
if you
black.
guys have never been to Burnsville, there is a place called Price's Creek Grocery Store.
this place is.
And these guys are probably going to be angry at the locals. I've been going to this place for a long time, but it's an old grocery store, but it is a gun store.
The owner's not going to be mad.
Yeah, the owner won't be. Well, I don't know. They might. The locals might.
The
not be.
locals will. The
So I've
owner
been
might-
telling Rick about it for years. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you got to check this place out. Well, Big Ivy Guns in Silas Branch here is just down the road from Price's Creek grocery store. And that grocery store, it's where I actually found a Benelli M2 because they had just walls of them. And I
They
told
still
Rick, I was
did.
like, they have so many guns there, they just stack them on top of each other.
Yeah.
And so today he went in and he's looking around, he's like, holy crud. I mean, they have more inventory than what I see at most of your Sportsman's Warehouse and a better selection.
That's fact.
That's fact. And they had ammunition. You guys know that I did the machine gun upper, the belt fed upper last week. I did that video. Remember that ammo that I got was M855, and I paid $1 a round for that from Sportsman's. They had it over at Price's Creek for 50-something cents a round, and that is a great place to go. If you're ever in the area, it's worth swinging by because he's going through, he's like, man, I want one of those flat dark earth SIG P365s. I said, well, I'm sure they have one. And sure enough, they had like 3 to choose from, and so we bought one today, and It's a great carry pistol. You don't even know you have it. And it shoots like a full-size pistol. So while he has gone to the restroom, I don't know how much longer we're gonna do this. I wanna check the comments. If you guys have any questions, we'll try to answer them as best as we can.
They even got mini splits in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
This place is freaking amazing.
Says, I go there all the time.
Who did?
John. It goes to
Kreiderman?
Yeah, it goes to Price of Crib.
That's where he gets his
He's been
ammo.
holding out.
Uh-huh. Why I oughta.
All right, my turn.
Yeah. All right, we'll catch up. Maybe we'll talk about some more parts here. How do I sign up? For the match or for what? Dick Hedges, you got till tomorrow morning. You ain't gonna make it. You live in Florida. You live 12 hours away. You'd have to leave right now. Nope, you'd still, no, you'd be screwed. You're not gonna make it. All right, so we talked a little bit about the bipod stuff, triggers, chassis versus stock, personal preference thing, more adjustability for the most part from stock stuff would be a chassis. If you want to be able to add a bunch of weights or move weights, you know, forward and backwards and add all sorts of gizmo gadgets, it would be a chassis over a stock. Rear bags. So back in the day when I had started, we were shooting a match in New Mexico. It was a ruck match. It was actually it was Ray and I were the team. Competition dynamics. It was
Team Steel Safari.
That's it. Team Steel Safari. Jeez, brain fade here. But we were running bags that were super light fill because you gotta ruck these things with all your gear to the next kind of thing. So it went super light on all our bags, and those bags worked perfect for what they were designed for, and that was for like ruck style matches where, you know, you don't want all this heavy fill, super sand, you know.
That's 5 pounds.
Yeah, you don't want to carry all this crap in a heavy fill. So with PRS though, you're not rucking stuff, you know, miles and miles, and you're basically just shooting a match. So you can carry a lot of stuff. You can use carts, you know, maybe you've seen some of the videos on the cart that I got, but you don't have to go crazy far. So you can run a better solid bag. And even this bag I don't like as much as the one I use, but so for the plate stuff, having the sand, having a heavy fill, you can get a little more stable and a little less bounce when you're shooting, but you don't have to carry this, you know, a couple miles. So if you're gonna shoot PRS style stuff, I'd say get a bag, and it can be any bag. It can be a wee bag, the, you know, fortune cookies, all blah 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 blah. But if you're gonna shoot PRS, you know, if you're gonna run like an Armageddon or a Schmedium style or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But think of the fill you want. So you want something that's a little more heavy for PRS style. So that's kind of the thing. I started off with a fortune cookie. I loved it, but it was a medium fill, so it was like a kind of a more granular BB style bag. What's in this one? This is a light foam balls in here, like little tiny, like maybe the size of a BB per se, but it's like a foam, you know, to keep the weight down. This one as well. This is basically designed for that plate that you just saw. It's got the attachments, and this works really good when you have a stage that you need, you know, a lot of positional work and you don't have much time. So you can save a little bit of time. Mostly you would grab your bag, you put it on the barricade, you put your rifle on it with its plate and go. But if you notice people timing out, or you go, man, that's a lot of movement, then this might be the case. Now this isn't as great as that black bag, that medium bag for basically getting a nice good balance and support. But this works way better when you have it attached to the rifle and it's going wherever you're going, and you don't have to worry about grabbing the bag, putting it back down, making it flat, putting your rifle down. So something to think about. This, so I run this bag, a Schmedium, and then an Armageddon big ass bag And those are the 3 bags, and that's it. Before we started off, we had all sorts of bags. Right?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
So don't
we,
waste
we
your
still
money.
have a huge bag
Oh, yeah,
full
we
of
got
all
a
these things we
shit
don't
tons of bags.
use or we have options.
Yeah.
But this is I'm gonna segue into another topic. This is something we've never talked about on the channel. For those of you that stuck around, I think it's really good information. What I have found in all of my years of shooting, you know, been competing for over 30 years in different types of disciplines. And that's one thing about me is I try to learn a discipline and go into another discipline, whether it's silhouette, whether it's, you know, ruck matches, PRS, whatever. What I've noticed is it depends on your personality as far as what type of match you will like, okay?
Yeah.
John Kreiderman can hear me out on this because he's experienced this firsthand. So you hear and you see about these guys doing PRS. And PRS shooters are some of the best in the world. They are. Reading the wind, shooting what they shoot, but their gear and their guns are very specific, okay? You have 29, 30-inch barrels that are extremely heavy. The rifles weigh 20 plus pounds, 22, 23 pounds. The chassis are set up a little differently, but you wouldn't want to use this for a ruck match. Could you? Yeah, you could.
I did.
He tried, and it kicked his butt. He about died. Now,
And
you could say,
that's
well,
only-
get in better shape, Rick. This is not something
It's
that would,
too long.
yeah, that I would consider
No.
a best for a ruck style match. Now you can do it, and there's plenty of guys that do it, but I want to talk about the personality. So for a PRS match or a PRS rimfire match, this is what you see. This is every match you will ever go to. All right, stage 1 guys, what you've got is you've got 5 targets. They're going to be this distance, and they give you the exact distance. Or it'll be on
Close.
your match sheet that you get the night before, and you just verify those distances yourself. You're not under any rush. You've got 5 minutes to do it. It's a known. Everything is a known. No, you can't touch the barricade. No, you can't put your rifle and get it sighted or get a sight picture. But everything is a known. You get this time to get a game plan, and if you're last on the list, you get to watch all these other shooters, and you get to learn. And this is a trick you should be doing regardless of what type of PRS you're doing, whether it's rimfire or centerfire. You can learn from everybody else's mistakes. When you look and see targets, so the last match that you and I shot together was that rimfire match that they had at Sawmill. I
Yep.
came in first, you came in second.
Yep.
That was a great match. But on one stage in particular, I didn't care about what I was doing. I wanted to look and see what everybody else was doing. Now, everybody has different skill sets and different abilities, but you're going to start seeing tendencies on certain targets of everything being left, everything being low, high, or left, or right. You need to take that note, because if 80% of your squad has already shot it and guys are missing it right and hitting the right edge, well, guess what? You need to hold a little further left.
Yeah.
You'll see what that tendency is across all these different platforms. Use that time instead of grab-assing and talking to your buddies. If you're there to win and you're not just there to have a good time, use that for your knowledge so that when it's your turn to shoot, you've already got it hammered. You already know, I'm going to favor more left than what I think, because that's gotten everybody else too.
Well,
Now,
there's a ton you can watch from people.
correct.
Height of bipods.
Yeah, and when
3
you
guys,
see that,
3 people just timed out. Okay, that's not a good idea. So I need to.
that's called a clue.
Yeah, I need to run this damn thing because everybody's timing out.
Yeah. Or guys get up there and now they're extending their legs. Look at those angles. Look where it's positioned. You can learn from that. You're not going to have that ability if you were first or if you're second, because you're so rushed trying to get your stuff together. As soon as you get done shooting that PRS stage, that is not the time to be upset with yourself, happy with yourself, or anything else. That is time for you to go ahead and load your mags for the next stage, get all that taken care of and out of the way, so you're not rushing when you go to the next stage.
Yeah, Dick. So you remember to put ammo in your bag.
So that is the PRS guy, okay? There's this other personality that likes, and I want to say this is my personality, I get bored with that very quickly, the PRS style match, okay? It's just, it's who we are, guys. You know, some people like this cake and other people like this one. Some people like the adrenaline. I'm not talking about adrenaline junkies, but they like to do things that are more pressure, and that's me. So these ruck matches where you go in blind and you don't have a clue, number one, where the targets are, what the distances are, and you have a limited amount of time to be able to get those, engage those, hit those, and then move on, I tend to like those matches more than PRS. This is why I've been doing a lot less of the PRS 22 and the centerfire stuff, because I like the ruck style matches, the blind matches.
Yeah.
Rick knows this, you know, because that match that I won up in, was it Kentucky?
Kentucky.
That was a blind stage match. It was right down my alley.
It was, yeah, that's.
And it was a rimfire event, but I really loved that. It was fun.
Well, and that's kind of where unfortunately for us, Georgia, at least where we're normally at, I don't know, right north of us, but the closest in NRL Hunter match was the only one was in Georgia on this East Coast side.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the style shooting you would love.
Correct. But they don't do it here.
They don't do it on this side, and you know it's like.
And what you don't see is a crossover. You typically at the CD matches or these ruck style matches, you don't see PRS guys. I mean, they can do it, and they could do it well, but they just don't do it. That's what I'm seeing, and I've asked a lot of people this.
I think they get intimidated by having to figure out where the target's at, having to figure out the range.
There's no planning. It's all going to be done on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's one or the other on what you prefer. So figure out which way you want to go, because that's going to have a big effect on what your gear is.
That's like the Sky Pop. For what he does and what I've done a couple times, that's where those things really come into play, where, you know, you got these funky angles and you can do a lot of crazy stuff, especially the double pulls. That's where the double pull, it'll get your rifle high enough where the weeds and grass, where you normally just see weeds and grass with some of the bipods because they don't get high enough.
Or they don't allow a tripod.
Yeah, or some funky rock thing, you know, where.
Yeah.
So there's gear depending on specific to what you're doing, but.
Yeah, so, you know, I wanted to bring that up because, you know, long range is not just long range. There's so many different facets of it that you need to take into account, and that can change what you choose as your gear and what works best for you without spending a fortune on it.
And he has the ability to spot, he can see really well far away, where me, on the other hand, my eyes, I don't know, we both got crappy eyes, but he's just better at spotting targets that are basically, they're not painted white, you know, on the ruck style matches, and that's where I have troubles just finding targets.
But it's a learned thing. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it.
You look
but
at
that's
straps,
it. The reason I'd mentioned Kreiderman had never done a 3-gun, and he went out to the American Defense Manufacturing 3-gun match. He was like, I really like this. Now I see what this action's all about.
Yeah.
He's one of those that would, I think, like the blind stage match.
Yeah.
Because the PRS, I mean, you're only moving, you might move 8 feet.
Yeah, sometimes you got to move a lot.
10. What's the furthest PRS match you've ever moved to position-wise, distance-wise?
It was the last, it was the championship, and it was like a 3-gun thing. It was really cool. So you basically had to go forward. So every time you moved, you had to go to certain trees. But yeah, you moved probably from here to the campers.
But that is rare.
No, totally rare. Yeah, that's the first time I've had to do
Correct.
that. Yeah.
So, you know, it's cool
But
that
it
they're
does
incorporating
happen.
some of that. And like even the KKM match, or the K&M, the gap grind, that used to be more of an action match. Now it's strictly PRS.
Oh, this win is, it doesn't matter. Even you can't see anything.
I didn't see what he was.
It was about the wind. How's the wind out here?
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's
I don't know, I've
not
only been
crazy bad, but those indicators are not going to be there that you might be used to. You're not going to see the splash, which is going to make it harder because getting a correction, if you shoot and you're holding, let's say, a mil left, and you can't tell where you missed, but you missed, now you're in the blind.
Yeah.
Did I hold enough or did I hold too much? Well, you can look down there at the target, but that doesn't mean what's going on in the valley. Plus, when you get in these valleys, you can get uplift, which can really mess with what your elevation is and what you're dialing. I'm not talking about slope depth. I'm just talking about uplift or downdraft.
Well, you're
from how the
getting
wind's
wind
moving.
left to right, and you're getting updraft or down.
It's a tough type of shooting for sure, but it's a lot of fun. So, well, I enjoy it because it's an unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, you really got to spot your hits or misses. Because if not, you're screwed.
But if you haven't been out to this place, guys, like I said, it is a really unique experience. I'm glad Rick was able to come out here and shoot this. And you know, like I said, out here just camping in the middle of nowhere.
And that deers just walked by camp earlier before we started the match.
Yeah, and they're growing this place.
It is freaking cool out here.
Yeah, it is a multi-million-dollar facility.
Yeah,
no doubt, and there's no experience like it. What they do, we didn't cover this, or I think we broke up. When you show up and you register, they're going to assign basically an RO with you for the moment to get all of you and your gear to the shooting location.
Yep.
Then they're either going to stay with you, or they're going to drop you off and leave a radio with you, and when you need to change locations, you just radio back down, they'll send one up. You're not going to drive a vehicle through here. Not going to happen. It's period.
And you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, no, this is not a place for that.
Well, you might want to.
So you might have to wait, 5 minutes, but it's a pretty cool experience.
Hell yeah.
Soft bags, don't bring a bunch of Pelicans. They can just strap them to the front of the vehicle and get you where you need to go.
Good luck tomorrow. Appreciate it, Daniel.
All right, we'll see you, Daniel.
And we're getting close to done.
Yeah, almost done. We got 48 people in here. Anything you want to cover before we shut it down? What are y'all
rear bag. Rear bag for me is the Armageddon big ass bag. I will say I don't even know the best way to. Basically, having a bag is huge. A rear bag for support, filling the voids, right? Getting a strong, stable platform is very important, especially when you're shooting 1,000 yards. You know, your dot is all over that tiny little target. So being as stable as you can be is definitely beneficial. So having a support and utilizing the support and learning how to use it in the 5 position or 5 heights is going to make you a way better shooter faster. And there's motion at my front door.
It looks like it's just I'm off.
Yeah.
So real quick, someone asked about an Arkin scope. Before I get too crazy on the scopes here, I am going to say that get the best scope you can afford, okay?
Yep.
Do not be fooled into thinking that you're going to buy a $500 or $800 scope and it is just as good as a Night Force or this Razor HD Gen 3, okay? You're fooling yourself. It might track as well, but where you're going to notice is the glass clarity, okay?
Low light.
And I'm not saying this about Arkin. I'm just saying you've got Athlon, you've got Arkin, you've got Vortex, and all these different series. They're not all equal, okay? So even though I shoot for Burris, you know, they give me the ability to shoot whatever I want to shoot. That's great. The Burris is not Night Force. It is not a Tangent Theta when it comes to clarity and things like that. Now, I've got a couple of Tangents now. I've never reviewed them. I'm not 100% sold on them. I love the clicks, the tactile
zero
clicks.
compromise as well.
The the resetting of the zero on the tangents, second to none. The glass is really clear, but the eye box is really kind of odd. It doesn't.
Too close or too far?
It feels closed off. So I'm not I know it's a bomb-proof scope, but it just doesn't fit that bill for me like, let's say, the Night Force does. I can shoot a match and win a match with a Burris, whether it's the Pro or the XTR3. Guys do it all the time. You know, Dorgan and everybody else that shoots for Burris, those are unbelievable shooters. But where you're going to notice that difference is when you start powering up and when it starts to get dark, that's where you're going to notice the difference. I've been doing a lot of testing over the last month or so, just taking different brand scopes out there.
Especially out in, I'm calling it this area, where you're shooting in a lot of tree canopy, where you're not getting good lighting on the targets.
And you need an illuminated reticle on because you're shooting in a black hole.
Yeah, you're shooting in a black hole with black lines. And you either have to power way up to try to find the dot that's not going to be there because it's black and so is the background. So there's a lot of things. Now, if you took a perfect day, you're not going to see as much difference. But when you have those circumstances that we just talked about, you're going to be like, holy hell, I see why you... And you get what you pay for the most part. And there is a difference.
And a lot of the lower end scope companies or the more budget friendly scope companies have come a long ways, guys.
For sure.
For sure. The tracking's gotten a lot better. The glass has gotten a lot better.
turrets have gotten
I am
better.
gonna say, and I'm gonna go on record saying this, I probably own more Night Force scopes than any other scope, and they are by far my favorite scope. Period. End of story. Bang for the buck, and I don't care if you start talking about zero compromise, you start talking about Hens-Holtz and Schmidt and Benders. I've had them all, I've owned them, I've shot them, I've had a chance to really get time behind them, and bang for the buck, it is hard to beat a Night Force scope. That being said, I'm a huge fan of the Razors, whether it's the Gen 2 or the Gen 3. That is a solid, robust scope. I have a lot of those as well. I compete with the 1 to 10 and 3-gun. So I'm not just running Night Force just because I want to. I mean, it's got to fit the bill for me.
Yeah.
That 1 to 10, I think, is one of the best
When
low
you
power
look
variable
through
optics
that
going.
scope, you don't even see the scope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just disappears.
It disappears.
It's why the
it's
1 to
freaking
6 was
amazing.
so popular.
Yeah.
That is still one of my all-time favorites. That's
Yeah,
actually,
1
I
to
think,
6.
what they have on the rifle tomorrow.
Yeah,
You'll
that's
never
awesome.
go wrong with a 1 to 6 Vortex Razor HD. That is a great scope. Sometimes they go on sale
For
for
an AR.
$800 for an AR for
Yeah.
3-gun.
3-gun. It's
Um,
perfect.
But if you want to reach out there a little bit further and you want the 1 to 10 and you want a good mil reticle, it's hard. I mean, the new Night Force attackers are the 1 to 8 is better than what it was when I originally reviewed it.
Nice.
So they took a look at the reticle that they had kind of made too thick in the beginning.
But if your option is either buy scope X that's not as much, or never shoot for another 2 years while you're saving up, I mean, I want to shoot. I want
Yeah.
to shoot.
Get, like I said,
Get
get
the
the best
Arkin,
thing you can afford.
Athlon, whatever.
Just make sure they have
good
support.
stuff. Yeah. And I've heard great stuff about the scope, so I'm not complaining at all.
Don't go to a gun show and buy you an NC Star or something
Don't
like
buy
that.
any of that crap.
You're going to get what you pay for. It's going to go down. You're not going to have tracking.
No. And think of it as an investment anyways.
The Norma Attack 22 long rifle ammunition. Okay, so I bought a bunch of that. And I know a lot of people swear by that stuff because it's cheap. I think you can get it at Sportsman's for like $4.99 or something. One of the things that I'm going to say is none of my rifles like TAC 22. It'll like it until you get that hot round that's really, really hot. And at 100 yards, now it's 1.5 inches above the group. And if you're shooting some of these matches, you can't, I mean, depending on what level you're at, you don't want that. That's just that unknown. You know this grenade's going to go off, you just don't know when. So while Norma TAC 22 is okay ammunition, is great plinking ammunition, you can shoot a match with it.
There you go, Uncle Ben.
Don't expect it to outshoot, Center X has been lot tested or ELA has been lot tested for your rifle. It's good bang for the buck, and that's about it. That's what I'll say. And I bought a bunch of it because I heard so much about it. It didn't work out too well for me. At 50 yards, you can't really tell. But you get some distance and start printing groups, that's where you're going to see those hot rounds, those undercharged rounds.
Joe, I've been slacking, buddy. I know you and your son, or your son's probably biting at the bit, and I apologize. I've been busy, and I've been lazy, and I took a break from YouTube for 3 weeks. I was like,
yeah, I was like, dang, you don't do videos anymore.
yeah, people were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I had gotten burnt out.
Actually, we've been doing a bunch of fishing.
We've been kicking some fishing ass.
So I did a video. We did a video together. I just haven't released it because I don't know if it fit the channel too well. It's the Ray and Rick adventures. But my wife and I mean, we live so close to some great trout fishing.
Yeah.
We wanted to get into trout fishing. And if you guys have ever fished trout at the Davidson River, it's like there's a billion of them in there, but it's the Dead Sea because they see so much.
Everything.
And it's like impossible to catch anything.
So
well,
when you do catch something.
Yeah, we made it a quest. And we
Yeah.
went out there and we actually did pretty well. Caught some nice trout and
I know.
have been picking it up.
For the last 7 years, basically, I've lived by one of the world's, I don't know if it's the world, United
It's
States.
in the top 10 places to
top
trout
10
fish.
places to trout fish, and I'm like, I still have yet to fly fish. out
So
here.
yeah, so we've been doing fly fishing, and then we actually went.
We've been
and
killing it.
We went to Cherokee,
yeah.
and fished on one of the tribal ponds.
It was awesome.
And it was awesome. We sat out there. We were using Berkeley power bait, and we brought some nice trout back.
Oh, they were great.
filleted them up and cooked them,
actually-
and they were great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we've been
I wanna
kinda
go
goofing
back
off.
there.
Yeah, well,
They
we will for
stock
sure.
it twice a week. This place has got some.
It's not like a trout farm. You still
No.
got to do your fishing thing, but you got to buy a travel license.
Yep.
And that allows you to fish all their
All the
waters,
rivers
their
and the
ponds,
lakes.
everything.
What are your thoughts on shooting high magnification for P? No,
No.
today I was shooting 1,000 yards and I was on 11.
But he said for rimfire, it's nice to have
it
the
said
power
rimfire?
of, yeah, I
Oh.
think he said it. It's
Zero.
nice to have the power available when you're trying to shoot tight groups
Yeah.
and get your lots dialed in. But during a match,
You just
you're,
need to see my. Go ahead.
you're not going to shoot over 20 power. If you are, you're not winning.
All I need, I just need to be able to see the difference of which line it is.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And it's still small, but I need to be able to go, oh, that's 3 and that's 4, instead of, oh, those are just squigglies. I can't tell. So I do power it up so I can at least read the reticle, but not very much.
15 to 18 power is going to be your magic sweet spot. Maybe even 13 to 18. That's where you're going to do most of your work without. Can you do it at 20? Yes. But you better be really good at mounting that rifle and pointing it and knowing that you're going to be able to find those targets.
Yeah.
If you powering up is of the devil, I will always say that. Because you're going to spend 8 seconds, 10 seconds
Or
trying to
longer.
find that stupid target array that you don't know where it's at because your field of view is closed off.
Yep, you'll see this.
That's it. Oh, you'll see the chicken head popping up all the time.
And then they're
Doing
like,
this.
then it's power down. Oh, there's that thing.
Yep. Yeah, don't chase that power too
Oh,
much.
another thing too on a scope is having a throw lever. A throw lever for this game
Must
is a
have.
must. Yeah. So if you don't have one, either figure out if they make one or.
I think MK Machining, they do a bunch of 3D
Yeah.
printed ones. If you're looking for them, make sure you get it. Close KYL with no movement, okay for higher magnification. Otherwise, hard to
Yeah.
find targets. Exactly.
Yeah, the biggest thing is if it's a nice clean field and you can tell exactly where you're at, that makes it even easier and you can zoom in a little bit more. But when you, like tomorrow, there's like these holes in the
It's a
The
bunch
woods.
of green broccoli with little holes.
yeah, there's
If
holes.
you have too much power, you will not find the target.
yeah, it'll
array.
be just broccoli.
Yeah, it's just broccoli.
Just broccoli out there. Yeah. No, other than that, I think it was a good chat. I mean, I know it had powered off there for a minute, but
It gave us something to do tonight because, like I said, we're camping and
we were playing cards earlier. I had to give old Ray a little whooping.
yeah, we're playing some rummy or something like that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
rummy or
I
gin
just
rummy.
wanted to show you guys this place and let you know, we're going to start holding classes out here, maybe 3 a year. I'm not going to do it that often. It'll be limited to about 8 or 9 students, and it'll be a great time. And you get to hang out with a couple knuckleheads.
That's it. All right. If you guys got any questions, put them in the comment sections. I'll try to get some answers to you. And appreciate you showing up. And yes, I need to get July's out there, but I have not. So
All right, well, thanks for joining
I'm
in.
just basically saving you some ammo from your son burning it all down. You guys have a great night. Stay safe, and see you later.
John, take care. Take care of that wife. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, she said
She just had some knee surgery, so
Just-
she's
yeah. She
she
was
needs
gonna
a-
do double, but she got just one done, which is probably a smart move.
yeah, exactly. All right, guys,
All right.
have a good one.
Be safe. All right.